Good morning, everyone. It is June 16th, I believe, Father's Day. I believe that's right. I believe it is. Yes, of course it is. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. We don't really do those off holidays like Father's Day and Mother's Day and Valentine's Day or Easter. Just the basics: Christmas, Thanksgiving, and birthdays. So we don't usually do anything for Father's Day, and I'm good with that. Um, my kids acknowledge my efforts plenty already, so I don't need a special day for that. So, what are we entitled to as human beings? Um, some people on the right would say absolutely nothing, except for, freedom of speech, religion. They used to say freedom of self-defense, but more and more the right has also um, infringed on that particular part of our human entitlements or rights. But some people believe that there should be equal outcome for everybody. And this is an impossibility. I made a video yesterday about incompetence, right? Well, incompetence is one of those things that hinder a person from that decent job. They may end up in the workforce, true enough, but the job itself, not really a quality job. My wife, she has what I would say is a quality job. The job itself, the benefits package, the other people that work with her, not so much. But the job itself is a quality job. And they have a very difficult time in retaining employees. People work a month and quit. So, and that's a failure of management. So the right to a decent job, as Bernie Sanders would call for in his, what was it? What was it called? Is Bernie Sanders a communist? Yes, he is. And believe me, Donald Trump he may be a war hawk somewhat. He may be somewhat of a bully even. But man, he's way, way better than Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton, just on his face, because these people, they want to completely make every person live in the same kind of place, have the same kind of clothes, use the same amount of energy. Everyone gets the same amount of everything. And yes, it does sound fair until you throw in, the people who put in maximum efforts, and while the rest of the people who are riding their coattails are putting in minimal. And really, the workforce itself is a bit of a socialist thing, if you think about it, because you have the producers that work in any particular job, right? But then you have the incompetent people who show up late, who don't know what they're doing, and say they do. They swear they know what they're doing, but they don't. So in a way, the workforce itself is a socialist thing. And when you add into that FICA, it's straight up socialist, straight up communist. Now, I asked my phone today what FICA meant, and it didn't mean what I thought it did. And I used this little feature for random stuff, and I think it's pretty nifty. I like technology. I just don't like how it's being used on against us. What is FICA?
Here's a summary from Wikipedia. The Federal Insurance Contributions Act is a United States federal payroll contribution directed towards both employees and employers to fund Social Security and Medicare.
The earlier definition, or I guess I asked it in a different way. It's being used to pay for the Social Security benefits of retirees, okay? Not future retirees, but people who have already retired. So what happened to the money that those people already put in? It's a Ponzi scheme. Okay, so Bernie Sanders, a Bill of Rights that establishes once and for all that every American, regardless of his or her income, are entitled to. And don't get me wrong, I totally feel, how that very minute 1% owns everything, more or less, right? I get it. But those people, they got their money through nefarious means. You understand that, right? All of them. They got their money by fucking over everyone else. So, according to Bernie Sanders, everyone is entitled to a decent job. The right to quality health care. That would be nice. I keep getting little staph infections. I don't know why. I don't know where the fuck they're coming from, but I'm starting to get worried about it. Last year, I got hit with ARA or C. auris. So, I don't want any kind of fucking sickness again. The right to a complete education. Okay, so back when I was a child, a college degree meant a whole lot more than it does today. You know why that is? Well, they've dumbed down the curriculum. They've made it so practically so illiterate people can walk away from college with a degree. And they call that leveling the field. While if someone like myself were to get a bad grade or do poorly on any number of projects, we'd get the fucking book thrown at us. They would fail us, right? Well, this is not the case. And when you go to college, you get failed if you're a certain type of person, and you don't get failed when you are the opposite type of person. I'm not going to say what I should because this video is going to go up on YouTube. So I have to be very vague, right? I have to be very vague and maybe even a little abstract, which sucks. I'd rather just say what I want to say, but hey, this is the nature of YouTube. So a right to a complete education, even though most of the people who go through these places don't even get an education. You get regurgitation. The right to affordable housing. It would be nice to have affordable housing, people, but it should not be on the backs of everybody else. I should not be required to pay for somebody else's retirement. I should not be required to pay somebody else's rent, and neither should you. The right to a clean environment. And this comes from a guy that uses a private jet, has multiple homes. No, he's not at all eco-friendly. I'm more eco-friendly than most of these people who talk that shit. See, people can talk, but until they actually take action, their words mean shit. Nothing. And what I mean about that? Well, when I'm out in nature, if I see trash, I pick it up. I don't just leave the trash there. I take a garbage bag with me most of the time. Sometimes I forget, but most of the time I take a garbage bag with me and I pick up the trash that's in the nature where we go on a regular basis. And I do my best to recycle stuff, reuse stuff. I do stuff that reduces the landfill. I have to drive. We live in this environment where everyone has to drive. Mass transit is just not practical in a lot of places. So there's that. So these people who want to talk about having these clean environments, this climate change reversal, they're the last people that will contribute to the physical action of doing it. They may throw some money at it in the form of investing in clean technologies, but on the ground, it's going to be everybody else that has to do without and not them. So there's that. The right to a secure retirement. These are not rights, people. They're not rights. I'm not saying that, if a person is down on their luck, that there shouldn't be help and they shouldn't get help. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it should not come in the form of coercion at the barrel of a gun. And that's exactly what government is. It's coercion at the barrel of a gun. No matter what government you have. You can have a communist government, a socialist government, democratic, republican, you name it. And still control at the barrel of a gun, ultimately, at the end of the day. And there's no way to make everybody equal. It just can't happen. And I went over why in a previous video. Incompetence is one of them. What about the choices they're given? I mean, we can go on and on how it's impossible for everyone to be equal in income, in outcome. It just can't happen, and it never will happen. It's a utopia dream, and we're headed right towards dystopia, not utopia. Hell, we're not very far away from dystopia now. I mean, the legislation's all there. The National Resources Preparedness Act, the National Defense Authorization Act, the Patriot Act, all these things create a dystopian reality. Anyway, thought I would talk to you all about this today. Hope you have a great afternoon. And until next time, kill the state, live free.